Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Glide Community Special. My name's Tom Gray. I'm community lead here at Glide. Really excited to have you with us. So wonderful to connect with so many individuals tuning in from different time zones and different locations. Without further ado, big warm welcome, David.
I'm so happy to be here with everyone today and to do this update. Many of you have seen the news that we released last week about our fundraise and our new initiatives and our new features. So we just want to communicate really well with our community, keep you in the loop, make sure you know what's going on, what's coming up, and to help us understand how we can serve you better. Because the community is really the heart of Glide. So when we started Glide, we had this really pithy one-liner: turn a Google Sheet into an app in 5 minutes for free. And since then, Glide has really expanded to be about more than mobile apps with the introduction of Glide Pages. And we never intended to be exclusively a tool to complement Google. We'd love to support Excel, Airtable, and many other data sources that are important to our customers. And when you make a project in Glide, you get to pick a data source. And you can always start with Glide Tables, which doesn't require any external integrations. That's our built-in data source that's scalable and has excellent performance. But now you can see that we've added Airtable and Excel. So when I choose Excel, I get to pick any of the Excel files in my OneDrive. Just as it does when you pick a Google Sheet, we reach out to your Excel file, we take the information, and we create your default app. So let me just switch over to Excel. This is the file. And I'm sure many of you are accustomed to seeing information like this in Google Sheets, but now this is available in Excel just as well. Many of you are Glide experts, so I won't spend too much time on the details, but we can start to arrange it. And just like with Google Sheets, we can allow people to update the data. So for example, if Alan is promoted to senior copywriter, if we go back, we can see that his title has been updated in the Excel file. So we have that real-time back and forth sync, just like with Google Sheets. And this is just a subtle and understated feature of Glide, the ability for this information to seamlessly go from your Airtable, your Google Sheet, or your Excel file to your app. But this just unlocks incredible power for customers who they have someone in their business who is maintaining a spreadsheet, and they can continue to work with the spreadsheet tool of their choice, and they can add on to it all the great software that you can build with Glide. That's Excel. It's straightforward. It behaves just in the way that you're accustomed to when you're using Google Sheets. Now let's do Airtable, and let's use Glide Pages this time. And you get a similar interface. It shows you all of your Airtable bases because it's connected to your Airtable account. I hope you don't have too much of a sense of deja vu, but it works just like it does in Google Sheets and Excel, bringing the data over. Let's reorder our tabs here. So we have people coming from our Airtable base. And if we go to the data editor, we can see the linked file in Airtable. And I'll just jump over there. And you can see again, we have people and departments, just like you would expect to see. Let's add a title bar action. And we want this to show a form screening. So that just creates a button right at the top of this collection of employees in the Airtable base. And when we click it, it shows an overlay with a form. And we want the destination sheet to go to the people's collection or the people's base in Airtable. So I'm going to add Ian L. He's in San Francisco. And I'm going to pick his picture. He is our VP of sales. And I will submit this form. And you can see right away he shows up in the Glide page. And Glide page is like Glide apps, but it's our responsive version of Glide apps built for web and desktop. And if we jump over to Airtable, here he is, right in Airtable. And if our colleagues using Airtable want to update this information as well, they can say, oh, he's a manager and his employment type is full-time. We can just expect to see all this information updating in Glide Pages. We just really love providing this sort of seamless synchronization, and we're so excited to extend it to Airtable and Excel so you can be really productive no matter which tool you use. And we plan to add even more data sources that work in this way. Just to give you guys some of the Glide origin story, these are the founders of Glide, Jason, Mark, Antonio, and me, David. We're building the first version that only produced a simple app and you couldn't edit it at all. We were really curious about software development tools. And we had this particular insight from a previous startup that we had done that there's this whole enormous undiscovered area of private software that a lot of people don't think about. I know in the no-code community, there are a lot of people who are entrepreneurs and they want to create a great new product. And most of their experience with software has been sort of public facing. But we were really interested in the private software of the world, given that it represents the majority of the software that's created and used. And we really wanted to improve the experience of using private software, because we had used custom software inside of our companies, for example, HR software, and it was always really clunky and left us feeling disappointed. And we wondered why it wasn't as great as the apps that we used every day. So we coined this term, apps for work. And we had seen this in our previous companies as well. Some of the world's largest corporations who can afford to have teams of developers were building internal mobile apps for their employees. And we saw companies with hundreds of internal mobile apps, so many apps that they had their own app stores for their employees. We wanted this behavior to be available to everyone and not just companies with the greatest resources. So we pitched a couple really large companies that we knew had internal apps. These were mock-ups before Glide could make apps like this. This was the original orientation, sort of apps for work. But we were very surprised by this no-code movement that happened. We didn't think about it too much, but instead of large enterprises building internal software, what we saw initially was hundreds of thousands of people building really small, specific apps for use cases that we never really thought about. And what we learned here is that if you can make it easy enough and fun enough to create custom software, the people will do it for so many use cases that never were urgent enough to warrant custom software before. So these are some of our favorite examples from the early days of Glide. There's a SpaceX fan club, a meditation group. There's apps to accompany books with like supplemental material for the book, podcasts, meetups, and conferences. There's an app for, care and feeding of your chinchillas. This told us that we were onto something really special, that a software creation tool could have broad appeal, and that perhaps millions, if not billions of people who aren't already creating software today would do it with the right tool. Apart from that groundswell that we saw in the first couple of years of Glide, in the last year or so, we've seen a lot of traction in companies using Glide in the original way that we envisaged. This is just a very straightforward use of Glide, but it was incredibly valuable to one of our customers. This is a customer in the energy industry, and they would spend $100,000 a year printing product catalogs. If they ever wanted to update these, they would have to go through a reprinting process. They've moved today to QR codes that summon a Glide app that is always up to date and is totally easy for them to change in an instant. Perhaps one of our shiniest use cases, we have a great video on our customers page, is the PGA doing event operations. So their first app, Bunker Buddy, was everything that each of those attendees would need to pull off a successful event. So each day they could see which color uniform to wear, they could report issues and get help right away. This was so exciting for them that they continued to build more Glide apps. And now they're running crowd control, ticket scanning, lost and found, so many different use cases in real time on site that Glide is helping them run their operations. We actually went to maybe a 50,000 person Ryder Cup, one of their tournaments, to see this in action. And not only was Glide able to update the data and perform, replacing their paper and pen process from a year before, but it was awesome to see that they had a problem on site with the lost and found booths, and they weren't able to coordinate with each other. And they built on site in like an hour a Glide app that just tied together the inventory and all the lost and founds. So each customer could just go to one of the booths and they say, yes, your purse is at lost and found A. So that just shows like Glide isn't just catching up to traditional software development. That's exceeding traditional software development. Not only was a non-developer able to do this, but they did it in 1 hour, really quickly. They distributed it just by sharing the link. It's a huge breakthrough. Even if you had expert programmers on site, they wouldn't be able to turn around something like that. So you may have heard last week, big announcement on the fundraising front. This progress we've seen from our community and this traction with corporate use cases and those great customers has kept us in the eye of some of the world's best investors, and we decided to partner with Benchmark. It's an incredible firm that leads early fundraising stages in startups. And I was informed by a Benchmark partner that maybe they didn't do an investment in AOL. I assembled this slide from their Wikipedia page, which has not been fact-checked, but I do know that they were investors in Uber, WeWork, Dropbox, Docker, and many other iconic companies. eBay is one of their most famous investments. And how are we using this capital? Well, Glide has, we're very proud that this was the entire Glide team at the beginning of this year. A very scrappy, hardworking group, You can see that Sebastian figured out how to duplicate himself. So that's why we're able to outperform on social media updates. But this is a pretty small group to support a product as complex as Glide. Glide is a very sophisticated application builder and design environment. It's a whole hosting and distribution infrastructure that serves apps. And then there's all the other functions of running events and engaging with our community. And we just really needed some more hands on deck. So a lot of this capital will go into bringing more people into the company, expanding engineering so we can work on Glide apps and Glide pages at the same time rather than switching between them. We have a new team dedicated to working on our templates ecosystem, which was always an afterthought. So we're really excited to provide the support and care for all of our initiatives and to start new initiatives. Now I'll talk about what we're focusing on this year. So in 2021, we worked with our experts and our most successful users on the community forum to make Glide more powerful. We wrote a whole new data editor. We added new computed columns. We added Glide pages, and Glide became richer and more powerful than ever. But to achieve our mission of creating 1 billion new software developers, we always have to keep Glide simple. In our opinion, we think Glide could be much easier to use. So we really want to focus on new app creation flows, better integrations of templates, new publishing flows, simplifying concepts like relations and lookups, and making the data editor more approachable. There's a tendency when a new tool gets created, it's parsimonious. It has only the essential features, out of necessity. And it's simple to use. And people have commented on this. Glide, I wish Glide were as simple as it was in 2019 when it had 7 features. And we listen to our customers. They ask for more power and more bells and whistles, and we add them. But this year, we really want to focus and make Glide more approachable, easier to get started. We announced last week new pricing, and you may be skeptical, but the new pricing is also intended to make Glide easier to use. Our old pricing was one of the most confusing aspects of Glide. You had to choose between apps and pages, public and private, and you had to decide whether to upgrade each of them individually. We've introduced new team-based plans, and the pro and business plans offer unlimited app creation because we want Glide to be as easy to use as a productivity tool like spreadsheets, where when you have a problem, you create a new spreadsheet and you don't have to think about upgrading it. And we'll continue to refine and iterate the pricing. This was a result of a huge amount of study and analysis by our team. We analyzed the usage patterns across our entire user base to see where people would fall. And there are outliers. There are people who fall outside sort of the healthy parameters of this model. So we're still responding to that and trying to figure out how to make Glide work for their use cases. As I said, we have someone dedicated to improving our templates ecosystem. They're improving publishing, they're improving the performance of previewing templates. And overall, we just want to make it easier for you to create and update incredible templates and share them with the world. We're going to invest in the design system of Glide pages. Right now, Glide pages have kind of a standard look and feel, and we expect we will expand this to let you sort of customize and create more nuance in the look and feel of your Glide pages. And towards the end of the year, we're going to go back to where we started and do some long overdue updates and refinements to apps themselves, their components, their themes, their design options. This is one of the secret superpowers of Glide, is that most software can ship you security and performance improvements. Google Chrome, for example, has gotten a lot faster this year. And Google just shipped you those performance updates and you just benefit from Google Chrome getting faster. We similarly ship performance updates and security enhancements, both to the Glide Builder environment and to your apps themselves. But because of our high level approach to the design system of Glide apps, we can actually ship design updates to the software that you build on Glide. As long as you stay within the constraints of our system. If you start using CSS, all bets are off, which is why we discourage you from doing that. But we like to say, if you build a software for your company on Glide today, it's going to look just as fresh 10 years from now as it does today, because we're able to move that design forward for you. And a huge focus is you, our community. We've always had a bustling community that's pushed us to extend Glide, that's helped other users find their footing and build their first apps. And we want to make Glide's community, the best software development community or no-code community on the internet by far. Meetups like this, user conferences. We want to keep you in the loop and give you more updates. And we're also starting a new ambassadors program to cultivate the promising members of our community who want to build communities of their own or create content. So Tom's going to talk about our ambassador program a little bit.
Yeah, we're so thrilled to see so many Glide themed groups pop up all around the globe. And it's so wonderful, that individuals, users are coming together to share best practices, to help each other out and talk about, broader topics like things like productivity and management and much more. So there's a lot of fantastic reasons to join. One, starting with video creation. We're going to show you how to make fantastic videos, just like our wonderful content lead, Mr. Jack Vaughan. We're also going to help coach you in becoming a great communicator and curator of content. You're going to get an awesome swag box. You will gain, as an ambassador, exclusive access to Glide's team and all upcoming features. If you're interested in learning how to build a business around Glide and start making money online, you have all the support and know-how, and we'll show you precisely how to get that off the ground. Of course, we'll be circulating this recording throughout within the community and then across our social media channels, so we can further the conversation there. But just to say thank you very much, David. Thank you very much for joining, everybody. We really, really look forward to seeing you at the next one.
Thanks, everybody.